Turn tomatoes into homemade ketchup, completely natural, without preservatives, and can last for years. I will cut 3 kilograms of washed tomatoes into smaller pieces. I put the chopped tomatoes in the pot. A kilogram of washed apples, I will clean and cut into smaller pieces. I'm gonna chop 4 onions. I put the pan on the stove. I cook at a lower temperature, stirring occasionally until the ingredients soften. After 40 minutes of cooking, I will grind the ingredients. I need a strainer, and now I'm going to separate the seeds and the husks. Write me in the comments from which country are you watching me? It's nice to know that we are watching each other all over the world. I separated the husk and the seed. I need a piece of gauze folded in half. I add spices, half a teaspoon of peppercorns, half a teaspoon of coriander seeds, a few cloves, using the thread, I will tie the gauze. I lower the gauze into the pan so that the spices are submerged in the ketchup. I will tie a cheesecloth to the pot. I put the pan on the stove and wait for the ketchup to boil. I add 100 milliliters of vinegar, 9% to the boiled ketchup. Salt to taste. 100 grams of sugar, 1 teaspoon of red sweet ground pepper, and half a teaspoon of cinnamon. I'll stir. The spices are submerged in ketchup all the time, and I continue to cook for another 20 minutes. I will sterilize the jars in the oven at 100 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. After 20 minutes of cooking, I will pour the ketchup into the jars. I will wipe the top of the jar, and while everything is hot, I close it with sterilized lids. I will leave the jars to cool gradually. After that, I put them in a dark and cool place until use. When the jars have cooled, the center part of the lid must sink. If you like the video, leave me a heart in the comment and a like. Thank you, friends. This is how I store tomatoes for the winter, as a thick, spicy spread that goes with everything. I will wash the tomatoes. I use fully ripe tomatoes, which I will clean and cut into smaller pieces. Write to me in the comments, from which country are you watching me? It's nice to know that we are looking at each other all over the world. I put 2 kilograms of sliced tomatoes in a pot. I put the pan on the stove. I cook at a lower temperature, stirring occasionally until the tomatoes soften. The tomato has softened, and I'm gonna slice it. I grind tomatoes and add 80 milliliters of lemon juice, 6 spoons of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, half a teaspoon of ground smoked paprika. I add chili to taste. I will stir and continue to cook on low heat for another 30 minutes. While the sauce is cooking, I will sterilize the jars in the oven at 100 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. I will sterilize the lids in boiled water for 10 minutes. After 30 minutes of cooking, our tomatoes are ready. I pour hot tomatoes into jars. I'll wipe the top of the jar, and I close the jars with sterilized lids. When the jars have cooled, the center part of the lid must sink. I store the jars in a dark and cool place until use. If you like the video, leave me a heart in the comment and a like. Thank you, friends. I washed 5 kilos of tomatoes. I will clean it and cut it into larger pieces. Write me in the comments from which country you are watching me. It's nice to know that we are watching each other all over the world. I will grind the sliced tomatoes in a blender. I pour the ground tomatoes into the pan. I put the pan on the stove. From the moment the tomatoes boil, I cook for 20 minutes. Foam is created during cooking. Remove foam. After 20 minutes of cooking, I add a spoonful of sugar. I add a spoonful of salt. You add according to your taste. The acidity of tomatoes depends on their maturity, between pH 4.6 and pH 5.5. For tomato juice, use ripe and slightly overripe tomatoes. Overripe tomatoes have more acidity. Acidity is an important part of safe canning. The pH value must be 4.6 or lower. If the tomatoes are not ripe enough, add lemon juice or vinegar. This will increase the acidity. I pour hot tomato juice into sterilized bottles. Close the bottle while it is hot. Once the jars and bottles have cooled, store in a dark, cool place until use. If you like the recipe, leave me a heart in the comment and a like. Thank you, dear friends.